What's your name?
My name is Earl Forester.
Earl Forester. Earl, we're talking about the history of money in the United States. Can you give me a brief rundown on that?
Yes. However, I would like to start in the beginning of the United States and why we are where we are today.
Okay.
The United States incorporated itself first time in 1871.
Okay.
In order to do business in the business world.
They had to incorporate themselves. They couldn't just act as a country.
No. So a corporation can do business with another corporation.
Okay.
But they can't do business with the people, the average person. Okay. So they had to incorporate themselves to enter the business world. Well, since then, the United States has incorporated itself many times.
Okay.
But then that led up until 1913, where the Federal Reserve was created.
Okay.
And now, a lot of people think that the Federal Reserve is federal. There's absolutely nothing federal about the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Okay. So that created the paper monies that we have today.
Mm-hmm.
Then about 20 years, we had World War I, and then we had the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Well, during that time, the United States had borrowed Federal Reserve notes from the Federal Reserve, agreeing to pay it back in gold. Okay, in 1933, when Roosevelt took over, became president, the Federal Reserve said, "We want our money." They didn't have it.
Right.
So they went to the people and confiscated all the gold. They left the silver out there, but they took all the gold. And you were not allowed to have gold for years and years.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people even understand that existed or that happened.
That's right. This was called House Resolution number 192. Now, there were two things that came about at that time. Not only did they confiscate the gold.
Well, hold on a second. Let me just make sure I understand this correctly. So the Federal Reserve was created, and it's not a federal entity at all, right?
That's correct. It's a private corporation.
It's a private corporation called the Federal Reserve, and the United States gave them the ability to create money, and we will borrow money that we created from them?
That's correct.
That's how it works. Okay, so the snowball kept rolling, and we needed to give them gold or money, and we couldn't.
That's right.
Right, so they took all the gold from everybody, or probably had a buyout type offer or something like that.
See, under the Constitution, the federal government has the right to borrow money on the credit of the people.
Okay.
Okay. So that was what was happening all this time. So so then they went to the people. The Federal Reserve went to the people to collect, and that's what Roosevelt did.
So the Constitution says they can borrow money for us.
That's correct.
In the U.S. Constitution.
Yes, that's
right?
correct. That's the U.S. Constitution.
What about the Texas Constitution?
That I don't know. The states could actually have nothing but gold or silver, pay debts with nothing but gold and silver.
Because I can't remember any kind of passageway in the Texas Constitution amended 2007. But I could be wrong. I guess I'll ask about that a little bit more today.
Okay.
So,
now,
go ahead.
The second part of that resolution was that if you work for somebody, they could no longer refuse to pay you in one type of money or another. In other words, that you had to accept either gold or I mean not gold, but gold or paper money. In other words, you couldn't refuse paper money from that date forward. Okay.
Wow. That's a bummer.
So now that was the creation of the paper money that we have today, which is the greatest fraud against the American people that ever came about.
Right.
Okay. So now you have, with this paper money, the Federal Reserve can create it out of thin air, as much as they want, when they want it, and it's just nothing but a book entry anymore.
Okay, so now let's fast forward. We know we're all stuck on these Federal Reserve notes, right?
That's correct.
And, well, as people do, quote, quote, barter with silver and gold, right, as defined, it's not really in U.S. law. I believe that's the way that it's transacted. You're not doing business, you're bartering or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but where do we go from here? Right, silver, go back to a silver gold, backed currency, The Republic of Texas talks a lot about this, right? And I heard you speak on this particular subject of going to a constitutional money system.
Well, the Texas Constitution, the Republic of Texas Constitution, says that the government can have nothing but gold or silver.
Okay.
But now that does not include what the people can have. So what I'm advocating, suggesting, and I hope to present it tomorrow at our meeting, a system of 9 coins. If you have a system, a currency system, you must be able to make exchanges with it. In other words, it must be divisible. In other words, the penny, nickel, quarter.
Right.
Okay. So if it's not divisible, then all you have are medallions.
Right.
Okay. So if we just call them units, because we haven't decided yet, and there's nothing been decided on. Let's just say, and what my suggestion is going to be, that it's 9 different coins, and we'll call them the units of 1. I'll make it up to date in currency, like the penny, the nickel, the quarter,
okay,
the dollar, the $5, the $20, the $100, the $500, and $1,000.
Okay, and these are going to have intrinsic value as well as...
The value will be in the metal itself in each coin. And as a suggestion here, or something to go on, we now have, with the United States money, they have a penny and the nickel and a quarter. These are already in circulation, and they can be used. But we need to get away from the paper, we need to add a metal dollar that has the value in the coin.
So which are you talking about? You've talked about using different metals.
Yes,
right?
We can use any metal we want, as long as it is the value is in the coin itself. Okay, so we have we use copper, nickel, brass.
Can you use copper and silver at the same time, because they're going to appreciate and depreciate differently?
What I believe, yes, they will, and they change. But I believe when we get back to a stable economy, that these metals will pretty well stabilize also, to where they will be divisible. And if you notice the quarter, and the nickel, and the penny, they pretty well stay the same in half.
Okay.
For years and years. And I believe with the different metals that they'll stay the same. Now the big difference between in the gold coins is in the past they've been 24 karat or pure gold. What I'm advocating is that our coins be made with 14 karat gold. And best example is the fact that gold is selling for around $1,300 or $1,350 an ounce, somewhere along in there.
Right.
So 1 ounce of 14 karat gold would be roughly worth $1,000. A half ounce would be worth $500.
Okay.
So the 9 coins that I'm proposing, one of the fallbacks I get from people say, well, who wants to carry all this change around with you? Well, if you had just one of each of the coins in your pocket, you'd have a little over 3 ounces, and you'd have over $1,600 in your pocket. I don't believe there's very many people that carry around $1,600 in their pocket.
Right, they're not using them that much. But so at the end of the week, you get paid out in silver or gold or whatever, depending upon what you've signed on to do to work for somebody. If you're an employee, right?
Yeah.
So you pay your. Let's say I had to give out $800 to $1,100 in U.S. Federal Reserve notes in silver. Currently, what would I guess I'd have the option of giving them 2 half-ounce pieces or 2 quarter-ounce pieces.
Well, if say the half ounce of and 1 ounce was made of pure gold, the 14 ounce.
So it's about $750.
So you're talking about the one of them would be worth $500, the other would be worth $1,000.
500 and 1,000.
Okay, so you would give say you owed $750. Okay, then you'd have a $100 coin also. So you'd give them one half ounce of gold, and then we have decided on what the other metals would be. Probably a mixture of gold and silver. of two $100, and then you'd give two ounces of silver, and then a quarter ounce of silver is $5.
Hey, have you put any thought into cryptocurrencies? You know, all the Bitcoins and Bit that and Black this and whatever.
None whatsoever. I believe that here again, that is a government type money it's a paper type money. It's not intrinsic. It's not something that you can go to the grocery store with and buy.
But one of the interesting things about let's say that kind of currency, you can turn your gold into whatever currency around the world to do a transaction. If I wanted to buy stuff in Europe, I can go to a website and pay them with gold by going through an intermediary, and then they turn it into the crypto and do the transaction. So it's just a vehicle for performing a transaction. I wouldn't give you a Bitcoin or anything like that. You know, something that has substance, you know, is more like it, but it's more of a conduit that I see.
Yes, but I can't see. I don't know what the Bitcoins are worth, but they have varied in price tremendously.
Right.
And where they're going and how they're going to end up, I do not know. I haven't studied it.
Yeah, the reason I say that and I think about that is because part of my business model, I need to be able to receive money and give out money over the internet, right? It's hard to trade in currencies like that, and the only kind of internet currency out there is owned by a company called PayPal, or you can do banking with, you know, Visa, MasterCard, or one of those international organizations to try to do a credit card thing. So you'll have to get your money into a Visa or something like that, or into a Bitcoin to go buy something from somebody in, let's say, in Europe. I want to buy something, right? I have real money, right? I have copper, I have gold, I have silver. There's a brokerage for Bitcoins that actually you can contact them, transport over to them, and they'll give you Bitcoins, and then you can purchase it from them, and they can have their money. Because money's a complex thing. I mean, as long as we're trading locally, we're good. But how do I do international trade?
Well, I believe there will always be paper money.
Yeah, of some sort.
But it will be all your paper money is going to be controlled by the government. But the people's money will always be theirs, and if they deposit in, we'll eventually have private banks, and you can deposit your money anywhere you want to, but at the same time we're going to demand that we're able to withdraw it in the same denominations that we put it in if we want to. In other words, we don't have to receive paper money anymore.
Right. So, care to comment at all about the current state of affairs in the U.S. economy?
Well, they're bad and getting worse. And what else can you say? If you listen to the news, any of the news, that's what it says. It's bad and getting worse, and it's not only local. It's state, national, international, everywhere, and everybody's in an uproar. But more and more people are becoming dissatisfied.
Hey, thank you, Earl. We should do this again sometime soon.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay.